y'all, we got a little project today. Summer's coming up, and with summer in a lot of places, as we know, we have rattlers. I'm going to be showing y'all how to build a snake stick. This is a method that I learned from a really good buddy of mine, Josh Deards. He makes a bunch of these every year. Really inexpensive, really straightforward, simple to make. It's a cool process, and they work really well for managing the snake if you just want to get it out of the way, or also killing the snake and maximizing the amount of snake skin you actually get out of it rather than shooting the head off. So you're going to need a few things for this. You will need some old golf clubs. You can get these at, in most people's garages. Probably should ask if they're still using them or not. But you can find a lot of these at thrift stores for pennies, it seems like. You will also need some small paint rollers. A couple bucks at Home Depot. You will need some epoxy and some heat shrink. Pretty simple stuff. So first thing you're gonna need to do is get the handle off of these paint rollers. However you want to do it, depending on the paint rollers you get, you may be able to just unscrew them. These are pretty well stuck on, so I use the bandsaw really quick, make pretty quick work of it. I'm gonna do this super safely with no eye protection. So hopefully you guys don't witness me going blind right now. There we go. So there you have it. Handles off. You have a nice little angled piece of hardened steel. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna want to compare. Your paint roller piece with your golf club. These are shorter, a little bit shorter clubs, so they don't thin out as much at the end. But you want to make sure you're gonna have to cut out the head off the club. So you're gonna want to make sure that you cut it off at a point that it is as close to the size of the roller as possible. You don't want to cut it too low. Unfortunately, these are a little bit wider than I would like, so I'll just have to use some extra epoxy. But you don't want to cut it too low, because you don't want too much play in it, but you want to cut it low enough that this will actually be able to slide in and fit appropriately. Depending on the golf club you have, different materials, you got to find something to cut it, whether that's clippers, whether it's a bandsaw, whether it's a hacksaw. Figure out what's gonna work for your material. I've got some clubs that this thing will cut through like butter. I've got other clubs that this won't even touch. So we're gonna cut the head off of the golf club. May also have to check out the core of the golf club. The ones with the metal handles are a little bit better because they will be hollow. This one, it turns out, looks like it has a bit of a core, so I'm going to cut it a little bit further down to see if there is a hollow spot in it. So there we go, little hollow piece. This is a bit thicker walled than I would have expected, so I'm gonna get a power drill and I'm just gonna thin this out, thin these sidewalls out a little bit, open up the size of the hollow piece so this will fit inside. like I said, it's gonna vary from golf club to golf club depending on the material of the club, what it's made out of, all of that good stuff. So this part, you'll just have to experiment with a little bit more. There's no cut and dry answer for that. Okay, so I got my drill. Got a bit that should match the size of the paint rollers pretty well. Let's watch me hurt myself here. There we go. Probably not the safest way to do it, but that's how I do things. So there we go. Have fits really nicely down into the golf club. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your heat shrink, you're gonna find the piece that's the right size to go fit appropriately over the golf club. And you want, I mean, you know, use your judgment. This step's just to kind of keep it looking nice and clean. You know, 1.5 to 2 inch long piece should be plenty. These are long enough, I can just cut them in half. They should work great. Now you want to remember to put this over the golf club first. You can still get them on over the, if you put it in the paint roller, but it becomes a lot more of a hassle trying to get it around this. So try and remember to put that on first. What you'll do next, pull out your epoxy, double check how long it takes. This is 5-minute working time and 10 minutes for full fixture. Make sure you get something that'll work with the paint roller you're gonna be using, as well as whatever material your golf club is. This stuff has always worked pretty well on a variety of materials for me. So we'll give it a go. In my mind, you can never use enough epoxy. Paint roller. I'll put a little bit inside here already. Mostly just get it all up in there nice like. Get as much in there as you can. It's up to you how much you want to leave in or out. And then I'll just smear a little bit across the edge here to make a smoother transition between the paint roller and the golf club. Also gives it a nice strong hold. All right. That's all epoxied in real nice. So we're gonna wait our 5 to 10 minutes before we head on to the next and final step for our snake stick. All right, so now that the epoxy's set, last step, just basically take that heat shrink, slide it up over, and if you got a heat gun, you're awesome. If you're like me and you've never actually owned a heat gun in your life, I'm not actually sure I know anyone who does. You get someone's hairdryer and give it a go. And there you have it. Got some reach, Nice little snake stick. You can use it as a hook, like I said, to move the snake around, to adjust it. If you want to throw it off the side of the trailer, just get into position. If you can get its head on a rock, rather than shoot it off, you just take the end of this and give it a good whack. Kill it, step on the head, make sure you cut off the head and bury it. Do not mess around with even a dead rattlesnake's head, because those things, as I learned from skinning one, even without a head, they will still just out of the nerves or whatever, they will still try and strike you even with the nub of where their head used to be. But yeah, so nice little snake stick, courtesy of Josh Deards from Hunt3A. Enjoy, y'all. Keep it country.